So, in today's video, what I want to go over with y'all is actually the only thing that matters when it comes to profitability. It's more important than the session liquidity model. It's more important than any YouTube video you've ever watched. It's more important than psychology. It's more important than any of that. You know what it is, ladies and gentlemen? I'll spell it out for you. I think you might be catching on now. It's all for naught without this. And I didn't realize how badly this was needed until I started trading on my own and learning how to do this stuff. Discipline is hands down one of the most important aspects when it comes to trading. But then if you really dive deeper and you really think about it, discipline is hands down the most important thing when it comes to life in general. There's a real reason why accountability is so important when it comes to hitting your fitness goals, hitting your health goals, hitting your educational goals, hitting your trading goals. Why? Because you need discipline in order to be successful, but a lot of people aren't disciplined, so guess what they need? You need accountability tied to keep you disciplined. So, what do you need to be disciplined with when it comes to trading, right? Number one, journaling. How many of you journal your trades when you win, but do not journal it when you lose? If you don't stop that, you will never be profitable. Why though? Why is journaling so important? Why is it so hard for us to do it? And I'll tell you why, because once you understand why journaling is so important, and once you understand why it's so hard to do it, you can actually trick your brain into making you do it. The reason journaling is so important is because journaling lets you track data. And you need this, man. So, what type of data? We know the basics. Win rate, RR, right? Win rate. And risk to reward. Okay, cool. Now that you know your win rate and your risk to reward, can you go a little bit deeper and tell me how many trades is your average losing streak? How many trades is your average winning streak? On average, how many points would the pair you're trading give you? Not just your average RR on how you perform. No, how many points will gold give you? A lot of people are like, bro, did you have 150 stop loss on gold? That's because gold will give me 600 points. I don't need a 10 tick stop loss on gold. I can have a 100 tick stop loss on gold and gold will give me 600 points. And that's a 1 to 6. You don't need a 10. Why though? Why do I know this? It's because I've calculated data from journaling, which in return came through discipline. So, why is it so hard to be able to stick to journaling when you lose? It's very, very simple. Your brain is more focused on getting pleasure and avoiding pain, that it bottles down to your very trading itself. We can't stop it. It's human psychology. It's not even trading psychology, it is human psychology. Why? Let's think about it this way. How many times have you been dating that one girl and everyone knows she's crazy, you know she's crazy, man, she's so fucking crazy, and you hate her, and then you all break up. Now all of a sudden you start missing her. Oh my goodness, I miss her so much. I'm gonna call her. I really, really miss her. You call her, y'all get back together, and boom, she's crazy again. How the fuck did I forget she was crazy? Why? Because the brain has a funny way of only remembering good moments, and it's a good thing. It stops us from slitting our throats. But in trading, you have to do the opposite, and you have to force yourself to remember the bad times. So, because the brain wants to forget all about the bad times, you start avoiding. When it's time to journal, you don't want to do it. Why? Because you have to recall your trade hitting stop loss. You have to recall the setup that you took that you know was so retarded. You don't want to pay any mind to it. Meanwhile, that setup, paying mind to it, is what will help you improve. Are y'all starting to peep the sauce now? I've said it multiple times. No strategy will save you. Are y'all starting to peep the sauce now? This is why anybody and their mama can give you the strategy on YouTube and it's still not working. Because you're not willing to do this. It's because you're not willing to do the very thing that you know will help you succeed at this craft. What else does discipline entail? Ding, 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 ding. Following your rules. I started trading because I wanted freedom. Well, somebody lied to you. Why? Because it's very restrictive, and what's worse about it is that you're the one implementing the restrictions on yourself. I'm only allowed to take this amount of trades per day. I'm only allowed to do this a day. I'm only allowed to risk this amount. I'm only allowed to take these types of setups. I'm only allowed to trade on this time frame. I'm only allowed to do this. I'm only allowed to do that. I can't do this. I can't do that. Where's the freedom in that? But it's the same thing if you want freedom in your health. You're not allowed to eat this. You have to run a certain amount of miles a day. You have to lift a certain amount of weights a day. Discipline is not a lack of freedom. It's the exact opposite. To be free, you need to be disciplined. So if you want trading to work, you need to set hard, strict rules that hold you by the neck. No joke. Because you can't control yourself. I was like that. And I'll be honest, sometimes I'm still like that too. Can't control yourself. You're forcing that other trade. So you have to develop strict rules. But that's easier said than done. I have rules all the time. The problem is I keep breaking my rules. Okay, number one, that's a lack of discipline, but it's okay because there's a solution to that, right? All you simply have to do is create systems. I preach this a lot. I don't take pride in my strategy. I take pride in my systems. I promise you, no matter what strategy it is, you need a system. A system that stops you from overtrading, a system that stops you from revenge trading, a system that stops you from over leveraging, a system that stops you from strategy hopping. That is why you need systems. And all a system is a temporary fix to a lack of discipline. So I'll give you an example. For example, one of my very first systems that I used to implement that actually helped me become profitable was placing my trade and going to the gym. That's not a good way to trade. Imagine you're risking $50,000 per trade and you're a high stakes day trader. You think you're going to place your trade and go to the gym? No, you have to sit there and manage the trade. But why did it temporarily work? Because all the system did was reinforce a habit that you need to be a successful trader, which is don't overmanage your trade. So you implement the system in the beginning, you have to graduate from it. You implement the system from the beginning so you can see proof of concept. You need to be able to show yourself that following your rules does work. Because remember, the brain likes to chase pleasure over pain. So if the brain ties pleasure to following your rules, all of a sudden it becomes easy to follow your rules. For example, I used to always trade CPI. I would always trade CPI, get wrecked, trade CPI, get wrecked, trade CPI, get wrecked. So all I had was I tied pain to CPI. Because I tied pain to CPI, my brain would forget all about it and continuously trade CPI. Why? Because I like to avoid CPI. Once I started forcing myself to not trade CPI, I started having green weeks. Every CPI week would be green whenever I didn't trade CPI day. Green, green, green. Now I get excited when it's CPI because I take a break from trading. My mindset with CPI has switched. Oh yeah, Friday CPI, that's good. I get to sleep in. Why? Because I was able to implement a system. The system worked temporarily, and during that temporary moment, I was able to use that time frame, rewire my brain into seeing that following my rules will lead me to pleasure. And because the brain likes pleasure, now I get excited to follow my rules. Ladies and gentlemen, all three of these, is how you win at trading. If you journal your trades, if you follow your rules, and how would you follow your rules? You implement systems to trick your brain into following your rules. You will be successful at trading. Those are the three things that you need. Strategy, I'll give it to you. But after that, you need to go do the hard work, which is to journal, learn your win rates with the strategy, learn your risk to reward, learn all that fun stuff. A strategy is only 10%, my brother. You have to go deeper, do the work, implement your own systems, implement your own rules, and tailor it to you. And that is how you succeed at trading. I'll see y'all boys in the next video.